Hello and welcome back to the LOS Champs channel. It is time for the second series of the night. We just played in Tier 4 2v2. We take a couple steps lower on the food chain to Tier 8. That doesn't mean that it's going to be less competitive. In fact, it is going to be probably a little bit more competitive because these two teams are 3-0. Again, I am Flash Pandy, with me, Money, Magic. How you doing? Welcome back. We have a banger of a series. What are you thinking?
Tier 8, 3-0. Both teams are looking absolutely crush it. And they both have like a crushing series like standing to defend. It's going to be a banger. I think there's going to be a lot of heat, a lot of pressure. And I mean, heck, here in the next like 20 minutes, we're going to see which team does it better, to be honest. It won't take long.
Yeah, that's the ultimate question. And I mean, like this entire format, it is a best of 5. So you have to be on your game from the very beginning. It is Team Wawaseed at 3-0 with a 9-1 game record. So that means they have swept at least twice. That means that they're going to be really good. That means they have not had a lot of adversity throughout the season. So the one team that is wanting to do that is LatinSeven Sienna. They're wanting to apply as much pressure as they can. They are 3-0 with a 9-5 game record. So they've had a couple tight series. So we'll see. They've had one at least go to a 3-2. So it is definitely going to be a fantastic one tonight. Team Wawaseed, I would say, is definitely kind of the defenders of this one. It's their series to lose. I haven't seen these two teams myself. But Tier 8, I mean, we're looking at MO range of about 980 to about 1100. I believe, I could be wrong, that is Champ 1, Champ 2-ish. So we're going to see some players that are all over the field looking to be as well off as they can, because it seems like coming into the night, they're pretty well off.
Absolutely. So what I'm looking for here, I'm looking for both these teams are going to have a decent understanding of the fundamentals. We might see some crazy stuff. I mean, you know, I don't know what people in Tier 8 do anymore. I mean, I've seen like new players pick up mechanics and just hit flip resets like it's no tomorrow. I don't know what to expect, to be honest, anymore. But in any manner, we're gonna see some pretty good competition. Yeah. So a lot of team play. It's twos, so anything's on the table. Like physicality can work, your team plays can work, and just outpacing your opponents a lot of times can work too. So yeah, it's kind of a toss-up.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that can work, so many things that may not, and that is kind of going to be what is tested in the early half of this series. Again, this is a best of 5, so these teams are going to need to be on the ball from the very start. And speaking of which, last series was kind of an example of that as well. Yeah, no problem and Panic. Yeah, no problem ended up taking that one in a close one. I mean, it was a 3-1 series, but it was still, I would say, pretty close. I mean, SGB was in the interview and he seemed pretty enthusiastic about that win. Speaking of enthusiastic, the Enthusiast package, I love how I worked that one in there. Give me a raise, cookies. But the Enthusiast package is a way you can show your support for LOS Champs. We'll make this quick, but it is $2 a month or $20 a year. You can be a part of the Founders Circle promotion, which is only for yearly subs, which is, again, $20 a year. So there are some options there. You get like exclusive collectible league-wide title, the Enthusiast, as well as access to members-only Discord channels, as well as the ability to customize nameplates, hero images, as well as expand your trophy cases and exclusive titles throughout the entire time. You also get, like I said, exclusive content or exclusive access to new content that is being released, as well as being kind of a beta tester for the new content for LOS Champs. So that's a great way of doing that, is the Enthusiast package. You can go on to the champs.leagueos.gg website to access that. But again, like we said, this is going to be a great series. Just kind of waiting for these 4 players to make their ways in. 4 equal threats on the field, we could say. I mean, as far as predictions goes, I always love to make predictions, but I mean, never seen these teams before, never seen the players. This is Tier 8, so it can go either way.
Ooh, predictions. Well, I gotta put it out there. I am a member of the org LatinSeven, so I already know where my loyalties are gonna lie here. So there you go.
Well, that pretty much answers my question. Team Wawaseed, be the one to shut us up, because, I mean, if you're taking LatinSeven, I'm going to take Team Wawaseed. I mean, we got to kind of split our ways here. But Wawaseed with the 9-1 record, I mean, they're going to be good. I mean, we see 2 players, it seems. It's going to be Blaux and J-Laux. So, I mean, I would love to know how to pronounce your names. I apologize if that is wrong. But B-Laux and J-Laux, or Lukes, going to be two players tough to beat because, I mean, when you have basically the same username, it means you've been playing together for a while.
Absolutely. I mean, more to the point, the record, the wins, the overall wins and versus losses they had, like, in the series. Like, this is going to be a tough team to beat. Like, they've got a lot to... They clearly can win. So, like, I don't really know what else to say about it. Like, you know, kind of flattered myself a little bit there, but it should be a good game.
Without a doubt. I mean, this is kind of the decider for first place. I mean, you're just trying to find out who is the better team. I mean, whoever wins goes on to 4-0. Obviously, this is kind of how this works. Loser goes down to 3-1, but you're still in a very respectable position. So these teams are just looking to just kind of hold their honor of being the best team in their league. So being in Tier 8, it is very high competition. I mean, these two teams have been already seeing a lot of success. This is kind of, for the teams that are a little bit under them in the standings, is you going to be wanting to watch this series. You're going to be wanting to getting your scouting reports on, take some notes off of these players, because this is the top of your league. This is the top of your division. This is the top of your tier. So these are the 4 players that are going to want to be taking notes from. How can I improve? How can we kind of see what the weaknesses are of these two teams, if there are any, because they are pretty dang skilled being at 3-0. But I mean, this is the game to watch if you're in Tier 8, or if you're a fan of either of these two teams. This is the game to watch, because this is kind of the segue into the latter half of the season, just kind of determining who is the best of Tier 8.
I mean, another big part of, like, competition in general that is not talked about extremely a lot is the mental part, right? It's one of those big pillars of competition, is the mentality. So if you start off strong in a season like this, 3-0, it can work with you and it can work against you, because of these Swiss styles brackets. You're always going to face the same record. So, both these teams are going, they're undefeated for a reason, or they can say, hey, I'm undefeated for a reason. It's all about perspective and how you take this challenge and go into this game.
Exactly. And with it being a best of 5, you have to be on top of the ball as quick as you can. I've said that 3 times already, but that is the story. That is the script going into this first game. I mean, naturally, in the first game of a series, that is kind of what sets the tone. So you have to try and come out as quick as you can. You have to play your best cards correctly, because these two teams are going to want to be punishing mistakes as much as they can. Again, folks, LatinSeven, Sienna, and Team Wawaseed coming up in just a moment. We're just waiting on LatinSeven to make their way in, because it seems like they are still warming up. It seems like they're still getting themselves pumped up and running for this series. But until then, we're going to take a short break. Don't forget what we just said, because it is all very important information as far as the series goes. We'll be back in just a moment. We're waiting on the couple last players to make their way in. And we have players, and we are back and ready to play. Again, it is LatinSeven, Sienna, and Team Wawaseed. Like we had previously mentioned, we're not going to run through the whole script again, because we have players ready to play. Again, I'm Flash Pandu, with me as Money Magic. We got a banger of a series coming up. Again, 3-0. We'll make this quick. 3-0. Both these teams have had a lot of success. We come down to week 4 to determine who is the best of Tier 8. Again, this is 2v2 East. We have 5 games, hopefully 5 games, but a best of 5 coming up. 5 minutes on the clock of Game 1. LatinSeven, Sienna, Team Wawaseed.
Absolutely. As we get started in the very first round of the crucible of competition for these two teams, who will emerge victorious? We're going to find out here soon, folks. A little bit of early motivation there for Team Wawaseed, with a quick response by LatinSeven Sienna as it drops towards the midfield, put to the side by B-Loud. More Gamer is keeping possession for Sienna at this moment in time as it gets pushed to the midfield. This is dangerous. Sniper, the last one back, pushes it to the corner. Out towards the midfield, goes to follow it up, and both team members of Wawaseed had a little bit of a coming together there, but they seem to have figured it out. A shot, maybe. It stopped just in the nick of time by J-Laux there. B-Laux on the push towards victory. Grabs the boost for himself. And a little bit of a miscommunication, awkwardness, however be it, however you want to say it, it is still in their favor, as More Gamer is high off the backboard to deny the attempt before it even starts to become a threat.
LatinSeven, already starting out with a lot of pressure so far, but Wawaseed has good pressure control in their own end. Gamer put some pressure. That backboard touch is going to be just taken away. So we see, again, so much pressure so far from LatinSeven. Maybe a response, open net chance for Wawaseed, but again, taken away. That pinch not quite going to go the way they wanted, but that shot, again, just off the mark, as they have the whole net to shoot, but choose the hardest possible spot. Response, counterattack, J-Laux again to take away yet another chance for LatinSeven, Sienna, and maybe another 50, but seems like we're just kind of chasing back and forth. This game of tug-of-war still continuing, but the flag stays neutral.
Absolutely. Tit for tat, running from pole to pole, and we're still at 0-0 with both teams absolutely throwing themselves at the ball right now. It's, oh my lord, it almost went in. It's an open net. The foot race has begun. The sprint to get the opening goal. It goes high off the backboard. Will there be J-Laux? J-Laux is there with a soft touch, not exactly what he wanted. Gamer to push it towards the midfield. Sniper tries to tackle the defense to get the opening for his team. J-Laux goes to take his time, pushes it around one. Gamer pushes it towards the net, but no one's there to quite receive it, except for J-Laux. He pushes it back out to the sidewall and out of danger. Mora off the backboard, high, Sniper goes for the shot, gets a little too far under the ball for his liking. Game one, both these teams are touchy-feely right now, trying to see what's going on with the other one, to see what works and what doesn't. And this apparently works. The opening goal for Blaux in game one.
That is a nice look there from Team Wawaseed, as that's a dangerous touch made by Gamer off that side wall. As you saw, both of the players from Sienna were just a bit pushed out of their own net, and that touch only kind of turned it back over in the hands of Wawaseed. Great look for Blaux, as that's exactly the way they wanted this first one to go. Despite a lot of pressure that LatinSeven Sienna had brought to the table, maybe a chance off the kickoff. It's going to be Blaux last back. The bump attempt is going to be good. It'll be a tie game for LatinSeven.
Absolutely. We're already seeing physicality come up in the very first couple minutes of this series. That's a sign of things to come, in my opinion, because it just worked. So if it works, don't fix it. Going into the next kickoff here, we'll see what these players have in store. Sniper, very neutral kick off the shotgun attempt with the absolute cool play. It's good off the backboard. Sidewall, excuse me, for the net. 2-1 now. There it is. Look. A little bit of the shotgun attempt. Oh my.
I love the pool shot there. That is team chemistry at its finest. I mean, Gamer was just like, hey, you're just going to take this and run with it. That's a lot of pressure, a lot of communication, as you already have 8 shots. This game has flown by. We've passed the first 3 minutes of this competition already here in game 1. J-Laux, Blaux trying to connect there on a clear. Gamer again to continue. It seems like this LatinSeven Sienna team seems to be the quicker, more aerial adept team as far as these rotations go, as far as what we've seen in the first few minutes, but there's a long field chance. Again, that demo to take away the second attacker for Team Wawaseed. So we see some patience in the net. Still a lot of attacking from Sniper XD, who has been the lone scorer for this LatinSeven Sienna squad so far. Gamer maybe trying to find an angle on that side wall, but again, taken away by the crossbars. We're seeing some equal play between these two teams. More dangerous looks for LatinSeven, but still some quality chances for Wawaseed.
Absolutely. As you mentioned, 9 shots now. Jeez, look away from the score for 1 second, and you might get another goal, but it was just narrowly evaded. Absolutely beautiful work there by the defense of Team Wawaseed to avoid disaster. They are quick on the counterattack. Mora says, not today. I want the ball for myself. J-Laux pushing into the corner. No boost in the tank. Both members of Sienna up for the ball for themselves. A little bit of a double commit. Can they be punished for it? Blaux is looking to punish this right here, right now. Pushes it toward the mid. All he needs is the shot. He gets it. It's off the far post and in for the evener.
I love this kind of Rocket League right here. That back and forth play. Blaux taking it themselves, throwing it up to that backboard, kind of forcing the defenders onto the backboard, thinking, hey, this touch is only going to be here for a short amount of time. We got to work quickly, but neither of those players had the angle they would have liked, and that is exactly that adept rotation is what you want to see from a 3-0 team that is Team Wawaseed, able to get this one back even. Speaking of which, the net was wide open. What happened to the defensive end of Wawaseed? And LatinSeven capitalizes.
I mean, as we said earlier, The opportunity is there, and you don't want to waste it. Sometimes the best shot is the early shot in some cases. And if you have an open canvas to work with, you need to take advantage of it. At least put something down there. It might be good. So, LatinSeven Sienna looking to create another attempt. Mora off the kickoff, gets the control he needs, and puts it in the net. Sniper gets a good kickoff for LatinSeven Sienna there. And Gamer takes his time to make sure that he doesn't make a fool of himself in that situation. I've done it.
One of the hardest shots to hit is the open net. Is this kind of just the shot that looms among all is the wide open net. But I mean, if you're Wawaseed, you got to shake it off because kickoff goals kind of are one of those that just happen in 2v2. Sometimes you get a bounce that is just unreadable, just heads right for your net, and that's just kind of that case for LatinSeven. But if you are Team Wawaseed, you got to just take this break in between these two games because this one is chalked up as a W for LatinSeven Sienna. The way they want this one to start is a 1-0 victory, or a 4-2 victory, a 1-0 series lead after game one. But look at that offense from LatinSeven, 12 shots in comparison to a Wawaseed 6, but still some quality looks from both sides.
Absolutely. The name of the game here of this round in particular was just round in pressure. Both teams looking to make that happen. A lot of shots coming out, but Sienna did have more shots on the table, and more shots on the table means more chances. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams are going to adapt. If Sienna chooses to adapt at all, we don't know. We'll find out. Wawaseed is going to have some answers for this Sienna defense and offense in this case. A little bit of bump plays that happened, but overall, good Rocket League from both teams.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is still some pretty clean plays. It took a while to see the first goal of this game. At least even then, it was tied for a long period of time. It took LatinSeven quite a bit of time to kind of edge their lead over their competition. But I mean, that is kind of characteristic of a 3-0 versus a 3-0 matchup. I mean, this is Clash of the Titans. Doesn't get better than this in Tier 8. I mean, both of these teams have seen a lot of success. That is Wawaseed's second game loss of the entire season. Now they are at 9-2, but we're looking at the overall series here. Both these teams are at 3-0. So we've seen a ton of success from these players. A lot of success even in that last game as both teams were able to net a minimum of 2 goals. But I mean, now we're just kind of awaiting the start of game 2, where the momentum, I would say, definitely is in the way of LatinSeven. But Wawaseed still knocking on the door. We've seen a lot of great chances. Just a couple things didn't go their way last game.
Absolutely. I mean, it's game 1, right? So we've got time. There's not a lot of time in a best of 5, but we do have time, and that's important for these players to realize. For Team Wawaseed right now, just because you lost the first round does not mean a thing. You can easily pull this back. There's plenty of teams that spend their days going 3-1, and that's one demo for the road right there as we get into game 2 early on. Good Lord, Gamer, nothing in the tank, bit of a mistouch. Brandon is there to clean it up, tries to get the redirect on the net, but it doesn't exactly connect for him. Brandon in the corner, looking to take back control of the situation before it gets too dangerous as it hovers in the corner for Sienna. Gamer out. The net is open. It's a race, and J-Laux gets the goal. B-Laux says, you know what? You can have it. I don't need to touch this.
That is very respectable from your teammate right there, just to let you take that goal. If that was me, I would have been full steam ahead. I am taking this goal from you. I don't care what is going to stop me. That is my goal all day long. But no, that is a teammate that cares about teammate statistics right there. Selfless play there to secure that goal in, as kind of being your linebacker to make sure that that ball is not making its way out of the net. But that's a good start for Wawaseed, exactly what they need as far as momentum, especially with game 1 not going their way. I'm interested to see, though, Gal Brandon making their way in for the first time in this series. Did forget to mention that as we do begin this game, so it could be a little bit of a difference as we see this momentum continuing to move towards Wawaseed, as we've seen some quality chances. The beginning of last game, I would say definitely, we saw more quality chances for LatinSeven. This game, definitely in the hands of the opposition.
Absolutely. It's a back and forth battle, and the battle is not over just yet, apparently. LatinSeven getting the high goal with 3 minutes and 45 left. It's a back and forth battle. Early on, Wawaseed definitely had the advantage. Sienna is looking to take that advantage away from them, and they want to keep this momentum rolling, because as soon as the momentum starts to fall, it can be hard to get it back. So, yeah, like, momentum is the name of the game. And the mental, going back to letting your teammate get that goal, even though you didn't need to touch it, we love to see it. It's all about mentality. Sometimes if your teammate may not be 100% in on something or whatever, that can just be what pushes them in and gets them all on board with it.
That is a nice play. B-Laux connects with J-Laux back to the midfield. You see some stacking from those defenders from LatinSeven. Gave the chance. That is B-Laux right there, just getting that play done. You see, hey, that's communication from J-Laux saying, hey, the front of the net's wide open. Let's just try and hit it as hard as we can out of this corner. Open up this midfield. And that's exactly what B-Laux did, taking the play slow to the midfield and sending an absolute missile back to the midfield yet again. That is a good job by Wawaseed. There's a dangerous play. More Gamer is able to get back and make a comfortable save back to that backboard. Transition play going back their way. Maybe can they do it all themselves? They'll do just that. That one top shelf. Good for More Gamer.
Well, the man with the plan, and he had the answer to this defense here right now. In this case, it was speed. Absolutely blistering his way around the pitch there to get the goal to tie it up once again.
A tied up game is a game I love to watch because that shows that these teams are close and deserve to be here. That is why they are both 3-0 right now. It is still LatinSeven with the advantage. Now we are in a tied game, so Wawaseed trying to claw their way back. A little bit of an overcommit. J-Laux forced to make their way back. More Gamer. That's a weak pinch. Will hand it back over to the defensive blue cars. B-Laux maybe trying to connect. Back up field again. Maybe losing a little bit of possession, but that's a tight angle. Yet again cut off by the defenders of LatinSeven. We're seeing a lot of connections midfield from this Wawaseed team. They're trying to find each other and connect those pass plays like that neural link we've seen a couple of times in this series so far. You see B-Laux is going to defer back to J-Laux again. There's some pressure being put on this LatinSeven net, but you have to be careful, Wawaseed. Don't play too quickly because this LatinSeven team can turn this momentum on a dime.
Absolutely. It's nice to be quick. It's nice to know you're quick, and it's nice to know you have another goal, apparently, as More Gamer scores the third one for LatinSeven. They find the opening there. Just barely. The crossbar is actually their friend this time around, and a little bit of a touch from J-Laux there to make it happen for LatinSeven.
Little friendly help from the post is always nice if you are on the receiving end of that help. J-Laux trying to respond off the kickoff, but good rotation from Brandon to keep that one just off the goal line, as that was a quality look again. Those kickoffs not quite phasing this LatinSeven team quite yet. As Wawaseed again trying to work their way back. They struck first in this game. They're trying to get themselves back in contention. Still down by one. B-Laux is able to beat one. May have a second. That's a big 50 on the net. B-Laux is there to get it done. Only took one of the two blue cars, and we have a tie game.
Absolutely. It comes down. He gets the 50. He's just bigger at the end of the day. In that moment, Big Macs were on the menu for his car because he'd eaten them all and pushed it through to get that goal. Again, even Stevens, if you want to call it that. His kickoffs are LatinSeven. They got to figure out their kickoffs a little bit because they get early pressure. Mora gets their early pressure here. It's a backflip in the net, almost a goal, and it is a goal in the close post.
Yeah, that's kind of tough there. You see both defenders stacked up in the net just a bit. Brandon, that's good placement on that shot because there were not many places that J-Laux didn't have covered. That was one of them. It's just great placement, able to get yourself a lead back again. And that is the part of twos that is so hard to perfect, is being able to bounce back not only mentally but physically after a goal is scored, saying, hey, that sucks, we're down, we may be tied, we may be losing, let's bring it back here. And as soon as Wawaseed is able to score, it seems like LatinSeven is quick for the response, but I haven't seen a lot of that response from Wawaseed. Speaking of that, a slow roller from across the field. Can it make its way there? Right post again, denying this Wawaseed team. The crossbar haunted them on defense, the right post able to haunt them on offense, but can they get something going as far as offensive production? Maybe B-Laux to get the chip back over, just a bit too powerful, back to the left side yet again. Maybe a transition play for LatinSeven.
Transition play, they're looking for it to come through. Mora's up in the air, he gets one touch, goes to read the backboard, and it's denied quickly. That ball was coming down, and he put it away and out of danger as fast as possibly could there. Brandon off the high wall, J-Lox to receive. Off the wall again. Both teams are deciding to put this high into the side. It's high off the backboard. Team Wawaseed needs to be there. Brandon on the clear. Lox on the ball once again for these teams right here. He goes up the wall and takes his time with it as it is rushed by both teams. They're trying to hold on and they're trying to get the game equalizer to push this to OT. Can it happen? Absolutely. J-Lox, the man with the plan, the man with the answer, call it what you will. It's a tie at 4 seconds left.
As we said in the last game, open nets are the hardest nets to score in this game. You recognize that you have all the time in the world. Tough mistake from Gal. Brandon in the midfield opened up that chance, but maybe a kickoff to win the game. It's going to be just short of the line as we head to extra time here in game number 2. But Wawaseed, like I said, good presence of mind from J-Lox, recognizing you're down 1. You have an entire net to shoot at in just a few seconds. They got it done. Production is good. B-Lox to the backboard to start this overtime. Already some adversity for LatinSeven here in this extra time bit of Rocket League, but free Rocket League, love to see it. It's with your admission ticket. More Gamer trying to end this game 2 here and now. B-Lox can't rest up and take the save. More Gamer will take it and run away for the win for LatinSeven.
Absolutely. The control. Puts it on his car, realizes he's out of time, puts the flick, and elects close post. That can be risky, but it can win it for you here. Because the defender is going to be on that left side, but the close post shots, those are the ones that often work because it's the least expected spot.
Yeah, and that is all due to the communication that Brandon gave. I mean, you can already tell from that play. When that play began, Brandon was like, Mora, you take this and you put it in the back of the net. I mean, it is so easy to just kind of recognize, hey, we have a 2-on-1 situation. We may have a 2-on-0. And in this case, it was a 2v2. So it's a tough position for your last back defender to be in, because if that shot doesn't go the way you want it, it could be turned back on you into a counterattack. So the trust that Brandon has in their teammate to get the job done in overtime is unbelievable. That's why this LatinSeven team is up 2-0 in the series. That is why they are 3-0 now, looking down the barrel of a 4-0 record. But we're seeing a lot of pressure from both of these teams. It comes down to how well can the Wawaseed squad bounce back. And that is the question I'm looking to see answered. We're seeing them bounce back from some goals quickly. But again, the story continues to show that LatinSeven seems to be better at responding to goals quicker than Wawaseed is. And they're seeming to respond quicker to when they start to lose a game, when they go back to being tied after conceding a goal. Just quicker response time. I need to see more of it from Wawaseed. Otherwise, we're looking at a 4-0 LatinSeven.
Absolutely. The demos are coming out early once again. Onto Mora there, looking to clear some space early on the field and get the early goal. Wawaseed is wanting it. Mora almost with a shot of his own, doesn't exactly go where he wants. Klaus gets the touch. It's heading towards the net. Appears to be off to the side. Brandon get there just in time, puts it aside, takes it for himself. Over one defender to beat if you get there quickly. It's in the corner. They need to put it mid. A demo attempt maybe, and a demo attempt came through. Absolutely. LatinSeven not looking to concede the pressure just quite yet. He's trying to pass for him the entire way on the road's back. That can be dangerous though, because you could be out of position for the rotation. Brandon puts it out to the sidewall. It's intercepted by J-Lox. Mora up to Brandon in the corner, looking to pass this mid. It comes mid. Is it a shot? It's intercepted by B-Louse. And then LatinSeven is once again on the down leg run with Brandon on the save.
It's going to be tough to get back from this one. Mora Gamer is able to snipe that one from the left side. Is able to shake off the defenders going for bumps or demos, including your teammate. Is able to get that one in the wide open net. Is able to hold off that defense, hold off that attack that Wawaseed presented, and turn it right back on their head for yet another LatinSeven goal.
Absolutely. It was a good recovery, and good recoveries, it shows at the end of the day. If you get a good recovery off something like something so unfortunate as a team up, you can still make good on it. You just have to be quick on it. So, going into here, it's been just over a minute. These teams have been going at each other so hard. It feels like this game is dragging on, but another goal for LatinSeven Sienna. More of the same, a bit of a quick play on the wall and a driving home to the goal as fast as you can to make sure that no one has the opportunity to save it.
That is a nice play by Mora Gamers. Kind of been the facilitator for this entire series so far for LatinSeven. It's been the one to kind of put on a lot of the pressure for this team. Brandon's been the support player that has been so successful in this one, kind of turning over the reins to Mora Gamer, saying, hey, you take this. You seem to be the one that's just kind of on top of the ball as far as just kind of applying that pressure, being more consistent, but second man teammate is always the more important position in some aspects because you have trust in your teammate. Wawaseed just still, again, looking for responses. I like what I'm seeing so far, that Blox and Jlox are trying to apply to this game. Speaking of which, I like that one because it brings them back within one.
Absolutely. Move it. Use the geometry to your advantage. The backboard is your best ally when you're on the offense, and they are employing that here tonight as they get the opening goal for themselves. That has to feel good, but they've got one more to get in order to keep themselves in this and keep themselves potentially on their road to the 4-0. Dibbo's coming out early onto Mora Gamer on this attempt. Brandon looks for the pass back. It doesn't quite go as far as he wants. A little bit of a double commit on the defense there from LatinSeven. Sienna, it's a pass towards the mid. Can Jlox be there? Brandon, the absolute savior for LatinSeven, comes into play. Mora, all he has to do is beat one. Blox, the man with the plan, gets back in time to stop the cat and cook up one of his own. And it just goes narrow of the net. Both teams are absolutely pressing the pedal to the metal, going as fast as they can for the counterattacks. That is the name of the game in this part of the series so far.
Yeah, it has been up to the speed that LatinSeven can present. As I've kind of mentioned throughout the entire night so far, is that being the speedier team isn't always the answer to the question, but it seems like in this case, it seems to be the answer to said question of what playstyle seems to be more effective. As of right now, it seems like the speed is just a little bit too much for Blox and Jlox to handle. Seems like they're still trying to chisel off some bits of this success that LatinSeven has brought to the table so far. As we see some control from Jlox, maybe in need of some boost as Blox will take over for this team. No, Jlox running on some boost pads. Mora Gamer, that's a big clear. As these booming touches, these speedy touches that Brandon and Mora add to the game has been so dangerous. Add yet another to the total for LatinSeven. It'll be a 3-1 lead.
Absolutely. You said it best. Speed has been the answer, and who is speedier right now is what's working. Wawaseed is going to have to figure out what they need to do to cut their advantage. What is happening? A fake kickoff coming out right there from LatinSeven. Does it backfire? Narrowly does. Brandon, Mora Gamer on the save there. Oh, my apologies. Credit where credit is due. Blox wants to take control of the ball. Concedes possession to his teammate who puts it upfield. Mora Gamer taking his time on the ball. He looks to have a plan. He looks to take it up the wall. A bit of a musty off the backboard. Oh my, and it's a completion by Brandon. Absolutely, yes sir.
That play was absolutely electric from Mora Gamer. My goodness, are you in tier 8 or are you in tier 1? Because that play is not commonly seen. And add it to the highlight reel. My goodness, I have a feeling that's going to be a YouTube short in just a couple of days. But holy cow, Mora Gamer, that has to be one of the better passes you have given to your teammates. And speaking of facilitator, that one was beautiful. 4 goals for LatinSeven, trying to make it 5. Flip reset is there, and it is good. Talk about mechanics. Holy cow, how are you in tier 8?
Good lord. We see the musty off the backboard and then followed immediately by a flip reset and gets the completion on it. They are definitely trying to put on a show for us tonight here, and they're definitely trying to show that they will not be scared and they will not be intimidated by Team Wawaseed. It seems to be working them through so far, working with that confidence. A demo from Mora Gamer onto Blox. Jlox pushing it off to the corner. Brandon, quick for the response on the challenge. Both players going around the ball a little bit of loose communication from Team Sienna there, and opening possibly close. Brandon over one, bump on the first. Brandon over to Mora Gamer, a bit of a pass. Mora Gamer just has to put it in the net. He does. And in the next 23 seconds, we might be buying tickets to Brazil.
Yeah, that is definitely a chance. It's Mora Gamer just showing off there with the mechanics. Make it 5 goals in this game 3 for Mora Gamer. This is without a doubt going to be handing Team Wawaseed their first loss of the season, and we see why. It has been 2 players on the pitch, and arguably 3, because we saw Sniper there in that first game. just showing us mechanics as well. But I mean, this LatinSeven Sienna team has been absolutely on fire this entire series. They have not let up at all. But in the dying seconds of this game, the dying seconds of this third game, it'll be the dying seconds of this series, and it'll be a win for LatinSeven Sienna. They will be moving on to 4-0 in a clean sweep. They've had some troubles getting those clean sweeps so far in this season, but it seems like it was no problem in this week's series for them. Mora Gamer just have a day with 5 goals in game 3 with a musty flick pass, a flip reset shot, and a little bit of a musty there at the end for that 6th goal. But holy cow, how much better can you ask for a series to be?
I don't know. Like, came out, it was a surprise, and it was there. I mean, if you've got the energy, you've got the movement, you've got the ability, why not show it and show this other team what they're going to have to, you know? Like, it can be the biggest demoralizer, or if you mess it up, it might be fuel that adds against you're on fire. So, in this case, it worked out great for them. 5-1, or 6-1, you can't really argue, and a sweep to beat, right? 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, 4-0 record is nothing short of crazy. It's going to be very hard to stop this team, especially after the momentum they have gotten through this week. I mean, Wawaseed, your number 1 seed coming into this week, I mean, they had only dropped 1 game. Not only 1 series, they have dropped 1 game the entire season, and 3-0ing this team that has only have 1 game lost the entire season is definitely a crazy feat. Congratulations to this LatinSeven Sienna team, because that was an unbelievable showing. And look out tier 8, because they are going to be a hard team to stop. And I mean, like we said, they struggled with a couple of series throughout this season so far, but that one seemed to be not an issue for them. But I mean, LatinSeven Sienna is going to be the team to watch, because I mean, they were on fire. I mean, that was a scary team to watch.
Absolutely. I mean, you got 2 options. You can come in and play scared, or you can come in and play as hard and hot as you can be, right? And that's what they chose to do. They came in, played hard, they played as hot as they possibly could, and they showed what they're capable of. Any other teams that's watching in Tier 8, that's on full display of what is coming for you in the following weeks, as we're in right now, week 4 of LOS.
Yeah, and I mean, now we're in the second half of the season. It is definitely kind of crunch time for some of these teams, but I would say Wawaseed and Sienna definitely are both still in a very comfortable position. I mean, if you were at a 1-2 record, or maybe 0-3, or even then at a 2-1 record, you're still fighting for a playoff position. But I mean, 4-0, 3-1, you're still feeling pretty good. Both these teams are going on into the next couple of weeks with a pretty solid position. But it's going to be hard to stop either of these 2 teams, because Wawaseed, definitely, you got fire under your feet, wanting to win the next one. And LatinSeven, all the momentum in the world, you got to be feeling confident, because my goodness, I mean, these players have played an absolute match of their lives. But again, folks, that was Wawaseed and LatinSeven Sienna. Again, that one goes in the way of LatinSeven Sienna in a matter of a 3-0 sweep. So again, congratulations to them. That was Tier 8 twos, folks. How about a momentum jump? Because we're going to be moving to 3v3. Not only we were just on 2v2 for the first 2, but we will be moving to 3v3. We move all the way up to the tip top of Tier 1, Team Sonas and Wash U Rocket League. Both these teams at 1 and 2, so definitely going to want to be getting themselves back into a more favorable position. But again, I am Flash Pandy. With me, Money Magic. We'll be taking just a short break. Don't go anywhere. We got some Tier 1 action on the other side.